Oh, why did it do that?
Welcome to Baseball and Whatever with your hosts, Justin McAwee.
Because I was on campus and I had to appear like I was one of the cool kids, I would put the Star Wars book inside one of my textbooks so it looked like I was just studying for class.
All right, look. There's only one return, okay? And it ain't of the king, it's of the Jedi.
Greg Probst.
If you look at most Bond fans movie rankings, they have Casino Royale and Majesties in their top two. For me, these actually rank in the bottom part of my list. I mean, I love them, but they don't compare to Diamonds Are Forever.
No, stop getting Bond wrong!
And Vincent Francis Jankowitz IV.
I'm a glorified fact checker.
Last I checked, the most runs in a game wins.
Actually, I am a fact checker.
Well, hello, everybody. We've taken a, 2-week hiatus to wrap this up, but this is episode 103 of Baseball and Whatever. I'm Justin. There's Vinnie, and we got this man out of retirement. Greg Probst is back. Look at that smile. He's so happy to be here.
Diamonds Are Forever is still amazing, FYI. I watched it
really
again last night. Turned it on. It's just such a nice comic relief. You don't have to take anything too seriously. You just turn it on and watch some dumbass Bond, fat Sean Connery. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. So
I will
just throwing that out there,
your
Bond
word for
fans.
Well, if you don't follow us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, I've given up on TikTok. We have decided after 103 episodes of the podcast, Greg, how many episodes of Consider Them Slime did you do?
Oh,
10?
good question.
11?
10, 11? Yeah, something like that.
Okay, 10, 11 episodes of Consider Them Slimed. I think we did almost 15 to 20 episodes of Blast from the Past that you and Vinny did.
Right.
I also went back into the Wayback Machine. We did like 6 or 7 E3 videos. We also did 2 questions
Which
of
is
the
no
week.
with RIP
At Summer Game Fest.
Now it's just Summer Game Fest. So
we also did 2 questions of the week, which I don't know what we were thinking there, but and then I did a hockey video.
I thought we did more of those.
Did we?
I thought you had more of those. I thought so.
Maybe
I thought
maybe
we had
I
at
only
least
put
4. I don't
maybe
know.
I only put 2 on YouTube. And then I did some hockey video when Seth Jones ended up a Blackhawk, and we all know how that went. So there was like close to 150, 160 episodes or things that we put up. But with growing families and more responsibilities at jobs, and the pandemic is over, so people are kind of going back to normal, we've decided that we need a break, and we are in the words of, I don't even know what words I'm saying. I'm just making shit up as I go. We're gonna put a bow on this thing, take a break. Who knows? Maybe sometime in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, when we're crotchety old men, we'll come back when our kids are all out of school, or I don't know.
We need something to do.
Yeah, maybe when we retire. So
I guarantee I'll still have the same interest. So maybe I'll finally return to baseball. We'll see.
Maybe. So Greg, I'm glad you brought that up. So we're just here. We're going to do our final episode. We're thinking 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes tops if we really get rolling. And these guys are not bored. I know they have work tomorrow. I don't. I'm on summer vacation now. But anyway, first off, Greg, we haven't seen you. Well, I mean, Vinny and I have seen you and talk to you on a regular basis, but the tens of listeners that we have not heard from you in a while. Greg, how are the White Sox doing?
That is right. I really don't know. Actually, I'm sure they're probably 3-4 games back in a shitty ass AL Central or whatever. But look, here's the thing. When you have 3 kids and you're taking on, you got to manage construction and work where it's all going on right now. Like, my free time is very limited, so I have to pick and choose what I'm going to do, and I have eliminated baseball. Let me just say that baseball and I are on a freaking break right now. No MLB TV, YouTube TV's been canceled. That haven't even been watching that shit. So, and yeah, I watched the first. I think when the season started, I watched the first week of the White Sox games.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was it. then I just disappeared from fandom or whatever.
Kind
Because
of
I
like
think
they did.
Yeah, I think it just finally clicked. I think I was stopped pretending, and I was like, you know what? I just fucking hate this team, and I hate the fucking players on this team. I just don't like them. I'm not going to pretend anymore. Luis Robert, I think you suck. Yohan Moncada, I hate you. And I'm just stopped kidding myself. I'm just like, I want to see you gone. And it got bad to the point. I was like, you know what? I watched like the 2017, 2018 White Sox when like Daniel Palka was our home run leader. Even back in the day when Brent Lillibridge had more home runs than Adam Dunn, I still sat my ass through those games and watched a ton of them, more than half, I'm sure. And then this team, I'm just like, you know what? I just don't care about them because they fucking suck and this organization sucks right now. I'm still a Sox fan. I'll come back eventually, but now is just not the right time because I just don't care.
Well, I know Mike Clevenger, his arm was hanging by a thread. I don't know. I heard he.
You know what? For
I
the
thought.
interest of the
No
podcast,
structural damage.
Yes,
Okay.
I Googled Chicago White Sox before I jumped on just to see what the news was. And I saw Moncada heading to the IL, Clevenger this. I'm just like, oh, it's just the same shit. You're not even trading these assholes. You know, it's
No.
just the same bullshit
No.
news, which is where they're stuck at right now. So I'm just like, you know, I'm just not interested. I really have no interest. And that has spread across the entire, you guys know me, I watch baseball all the time. And it's just not, no, it just hasn't happened this year. So
Well,
I haven't missed it. I haven't missed
you know
it,
what?
so.
You're not missing anything either. I can tell you that much. Vinny, the Cubs right now are going for a sweep of the Pirates. If they win this game, they will be 3.5 out of first place. True or false? The Cubs are going to win the division.
Oh, I'm still holding on to true. Yeah.
Okay.
Slam that bet down. They're going to win this awful division where nobody wants to win it. I mean, it's pretty pathetic. I mean, both Central divisions are really pathetic. No one wants to win it. I mean, the Sox could probably win. They're only 4 back for how bad they've been. They're what, 4 back from the first place. That's so bad.
Yeah.
That's so bad. And yeah, I don't know. The Cubs are probably, right in the middle, though. They should. I mean, they've had some injuries. Seiya's long absence was not good for their lineup. Losing Bellinger was not good. But who knows? I feel like they'll go on a run there. They'll probably be around 500 by the end of the season. But I still think they have a chance to win the division, and I'll still they're still my favorite to win the division just because it's so bad, and they probably could fall ass backwards and win the division.
Can you imagine like a World Series of mediocrity where it's a crosstown World Series and both teams are just somehow make it all the way there and they're both complete garbage like they are?
Did the rest of baseball tragically pass away? Did
Just
all
like
the planes
George
go
Costanza
down
the
on road
plane-
trips or something? Yeah,
I don't know.
Wouldn't you think there'd be a plane crash?
Multiple?
Exactly.
Multiple
Right.
crashes?
Yeah, the
Probably
rest
the
of
only way.
yeah,
No,
that'd be the only way.
I don't know. There was that guy from the Air Force that came out and said that there were aliens here. Maybe aliens wipe out all the other teams.
They'll
except
abduct
Chicago,
everybody
and-
else.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're like, oh, we don't want the Cubs and the White Sox.
Yeah, they'll abduct real baseball players and baseball
Yeah.
teams to put on their planets to entertain them because they
Yes.
find baseball
It'll be like-
entertaining,
it'll be
except
like,
the Cubs and White Sox.
It'll be like a
We
Space
don't want
Jam
you.
Right.
Yeah,
the Monstars
exactly.
will inhabit I don't know. I'd say they take Cubs players' talent, but they don't really have any besides
They got some.
Horner and maybe
I honestly, both teams they're better. I feel like than what their record says. The thing is, they just both sides of town. They can't just put it together for an extended period of time. Either the hitting's there and the pitching's not there, or the pitching's there and the hitting's not there.
Right.
It's just the same kind of story, just different sides of town. I mean, for the first month and a half, the White Sox they left how many guys on base, and then the Cubs ended up doing that later, the next month. It's very frustrating on both sides of town that they just can't put it together.
I agree. All right. Well, enough baseball talk because that was never our strong point on the podcast. I think our strong point was the
Hard to
interviews.
have
And,
a strong point when you have shit teams.
I was
so.
gonna say, even realistically, it's really hard to do a baseball podcast when both teams are complete garbage. It's I don't know about you.
I think the Cubs are a lot more interesting than the White
yeah.
Sox. Personal opinion.
Yeah,
like,
but they're
you can
worse
only-
than the White Sox, though.
I know that. It's like you
By
can
like
only,
what, a game or something?
You can
like,
only
if
talk
you're just looking at
about-
the
Still.
It's like Matt Mervis still isn't hitting, and then today I was like, oh, he got sent down. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
we did have a voicemail this week, guys. We have a voicemail from our good friend Jake Banowski of the Dingers Cubs podcast. And I did not know this even came through. So, Vinny, I'm glad you caught this. Otherwise, we would have missed out on this. So we are going to play it. Jake, if you listen, I hope there's nothing in here you don't want us to play for the tens of people. Here we go, gentlemen.
Boys, it's Jake Banowski, Baseball Booch. I want to congratulate you guys on the run. Obviously, sad to see baseball and whatever go, but I know we'll always have Twitter. I'm grateful for you guys inviting me to be a part of the show a couple times, be a part of the fun, and good memories listening, being on the show, and you know, like I said, all the interactions on Twitter. The sports podcast space is losing a good one today, but again, congratulations. Excited for everything that you guys have going on, and you know, the day-to-day lives that are making it more difficult to do a podcast. I get it. I know the planning, you know, with our podcast, it's time consuming, and you want to make sure you're putting out a good product, and you don't want to hold back for the listeners. And you know, it might reach a point where it's like, hey, we can't do it anymore, and you're going out on top. So congratulations, boys. We'll have all of you guys on Dingers at some point. And best of luck to you guys in the future. Cheers.
All right, Jake. Thank you, Jake. I gotta say that was
Way too kind.
He is
that's
way
too
kind.
nice for a show of this magnitude or lack thereof.
This show of boobery.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, like
way too genuine.
Out of all the people we've met, he's got to be, I would argue, maybe the very top of just like the nicest guy you will meet. Like I've talked to him on Twitter a bunch of times through DMs, just about random stuff, questions about things they're doing and stuff like that. You could not meet a nicer guy. And that is something I think was really cool about doing this podcast for so long, is like over almost 2.5 years, like we met some really cool people that we can genuinely keep in touch with over time online or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Any other reaction before we move on? What do you guys think?
It's got some good MLB The Show thoughts too. You know, when I see on Twitter a little bit. So,
well, you know what that means, Greg.
Uh-oh.
It's time for some hot takes.
Greg's hot takes.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on.
Hell yeah.
All right. Want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts.
All right, Greg. I think it's perfect that we're playing that soundbite again, and Michael Keaton is in theaters right now as Batman.
I heard it was bad.
I heard it was really bad.
It's DCEU.
It doesn't look good.
Surprising.
No,
it really doesn't.
I heard he's good in it though. I heard he's good in it. I heard Michael Keaton's good in it.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
I heard too,
just
like
in that cameo role sort of thing, though. Like it's just a bad movie, though.
Yeah,
and I'm not surprised.
But they said like when he like was acting, they just let him do his thing. Like that's just like how good he is, and how probably bad everybody else was. Like, totally. You're the best thing. We're just gonna let you do it and not give you any pointers because you don't need it. But I see the like ads for that movie everywhere, and I'm just like, it just doesn't look good at all.
I know people our age would see it for Keaton, so that's the
one reason.
That's the only reason that I'll watch it on HBO Max when it comes out.
I think it's funny that we're wrapping up when that comes out. That is rebooting the DC universe, and the Snyder Cut came out.
I know
on episode 1.
Yeah,
it's like a full circle. But anyway, Greg, this is your segment. What's bothering Greg Probst these days?
Well, maybe we'll spin this another way because I am not really been bothered by anything since I haven't been watching my team.
Okay.
All right. So, Vinny, I know you probably haven't been keeping up with video games lately.
No.
But there's this Justin, you know, ever since I got rid of E3, there's been all these showcases and
Correct.
all that going on from PlayStation and Xbox and what's the guy's name? Jeff Keighley and Summer Game Fest or whatever. So now that I'm not watching baseball, hey, you know, consider them slime, the video game backlog. It has been revisited. I've knocked out at least 10 of these titles. When I say knocked out, I mean like not beat. But
okay. I thought you were going to say like,
but like I'd put decent amount of time into, more than I have in like years, I would say. So that being said, there's this game called Starfield coming out by Bethesda. It's kind of like a open world Fallout in space. And I watched like the 30-minute showcase for this. And I'm like, shit, I made the decision. I'm buying the Series X. It's happening. It's happening.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing it, Justin. I'm doing it, Justin, for this game.
Right.
I am throwing my chips in on this one. I think this is a must play.
Wow.
So especially now.
I
Now I'm saying that
though, it's 30 frames. It's not 60.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
You know why? Because of a game of that scope, 30 FPS is okay. Because if you get 60, there's too much to go wrong if it goes 60 frames with the amount of content in that game.
The only thing that worries me about Bethesda games, and I love Fallout 3 and 4.
Bad launches.
And Oblivion, I love Oblivion. And Skyrim's fine. I don't really like Skyrim. Skyrim's probably the weakest in my opinion, but they are really buggy. So that's my only concern.
It's going to be buggy.
Yeah.
But I think the trade-off's going to be okay.
I hope.
I'm throwing my chips into this one. And you know why? Because Xbox needs a win. They've been suffering. They've been in last place, you know, for like so many years now. So I'm just like, you know what? I saw the showcase for this and I'm playing games a little bit more. So I'm like on a video game high a little bit because sometimes I can turn it on a little bit at night. And I watch this and I'm like, oh, fuck. I might need this game. And I have no way to play it. I don't think my PC can run it. But I probably could, but it'd be slower. So hopefully Ashley's not listening because I have not brought this up to her. So she might be.
I saw
she might shut down that operation real soon. So
it was on sale for like $350, I think, the other day. Or...
No, that's the digital version.
S? Oh yeah,
I have not changed.
Oh God, don't
media.
So get Greg started on digital.
Yeah.
You little Gen Z.
Oh man, PlayStation
digital
Premium,
game.
I can just download a lot of games, Greg. I don't.
And now the new Alan Wake game is nixing the disc.
Digital only.
Going to start following suit. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is it.
They lowered the
water has reached the boat deck, and the lifeboats are going. Collapsible A and B are left as the smokestack goes. It's a perfect Titanic parallel.
What any other positives or anything else you got?
No, that was my only hot take. That was really for you, Justin. But
well, thank you.
You know, just to see that disappointed reaction, and you did not disappoint. You had the exact reaction I thought you were gonna have. So
I shouldn't say I'm anti Xbox because I'm not. I just was burned. I think I went through 4 Xbox 360s. They all got the red ring, and thankfully I had the warranty, so I kept getting new ones.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, I will never buy another Xbox after that. You
haven't needed to after that. After the 360,
no, I
haven't needed to.
But so. I would love to play Starfield, so I'll just come over and play it when you're asleep. That sounds really creepy.
You can come on over and play it while I'm asleep. The thing's gonna be sitting there.
It's probably the best time to play it.
I know, right?
Best time to play it. So
it'll be quiet. It'll be peaceful.
That'll work
right?
out, Justin. So there you go. We'll
Vinnie,
see how far this gets, but that's the plan right now. So.
Anything bothering you, Vinny, or anything you're excited about for hot takes?
No.
Are you still swamped with work?
Card
How's
collecting.
work been?
Yeah.
Card collecting. How's that going?
Oh, that's going fine. We've never talked about card collecting on here.
I know.
Before.
We could,
better late than never.
We could have tapped into a huge audience if we would have turned this into a card collecting podcast.
That's
Are there
no. Is that an audience that you don't want anything to do with?
No, there's fine people in the card
Okay.
collecting community, but I don't know, what am I gonna do? Show cards?
Yeah.
Like I can
Yeah.
do breaks and stuff like that, but
You could
like
do,
then
like,
I gotta
the
go buy the
reveal-
packs. Yeah, you know how expensive packs of cards are. Now you
And
want a
if you
hot
just get
take?
a retail one, it's not going to be anything to show.
No,
for,
you're gonna get a bunch of crap.
Right.
I kid you not. I was at Target today. I had to run to Target to pick up some swim diapers for Maddie because we were going to the splash pad. And as I was leaving, I saw the card aisle. And
Yeah.
I'm like, those two seemed like they're enjoying their card collecting. And I walked down the aisle and I saw the packs, and I was mostly looking at the hockey packs, baseball too.
The OPGs?
OPG and Upper Deck, or maybe it wasn't Upper Deck. I don't know what it was, but OPG was definitely there. And I was like, all right, well, let's see. How much is a one single thing of cards? And it was $5.99. And I'm like, that is too much for me just to like, hey, look what I bought is a joke. Nope, sorry. That's a gallon and a half of gas. I'm not spending money on that. So
the practical view of it.
Oh,
that
come on,
is very
live a
practical.
little, Justin.
And then I saw the Pokemon cards. And I'm like, oh well, shit. I can justify that. But no, I'm just kidding. I didn't buy that. I didn't buy those either. I still gotta break those out and bring them next time we have a family party. And
Yeah,
you guys
that's
can tell
right.
me
You
if
do.
any of this
Do
is,
some
if any of
trading
this
or
is worth
whatever.
anything.
Exactly.
All right. Real quick, I know we're coming up on our. I promised you guys only 25 minutes, so I want to follow my.
We're gonna blow past that.
No, we don't.
It's our
we
last
won't.
hurrah.
I don't
care.
that's up to you.
I got
That's up
nowhere
to
to
you.
be.
Okay, well, that's up to you guys. I don't want to feel like I'm holding you hostage. I guess
No,
you could
you're
leave
good.
at any time. All right. Click.
I'm free to leave.
Right?
All right. I did come up with a few questions that I want to ask you guys as the podcast is winding down, and you can give your honest answer. Okay, let's start small. One of the favorite things I enjoyed, and Greg, I know in the beginning, Greg and I and Vinny, we were all working on this. Vinny was kind of getting the sound bites for us. Out of all the music drops we did, do you guys have a favorite? And if you're listening to the podcast right now, this is going to be really like self-centered. It's just going to be us talking about the stuff we like about ourselves.
Fuck yeah.
So, feel free to tune out if you want. I guess it doesn't matter. It's our last show. So, Vinny, let's start with you. What was your favorite music drop that we did? Because I really enjoyed when we would play those.
Start with Greg because I want to pull mine up and
All right,
play
Greg,
it.
what was your favorite sound drop, Greg?
I'm gonna kind of. I mean, you put this together for me, Justin. But it was the I really like what you did when you took my ideas for Vinny's Consider Him Slime birthday episode, and you took the birthday song they always played on 670 The Score, mixed in with Elliot Carver from the Bond movie, and then the rewind track or whatever. It was like 4 different tracks I sent you, and it was just like put together perfectly.
I don't have that saved.
That was one of my favorites. Yeah,
I have the rewound sound saved, but I do not.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why I didn't save the Bond stuff. Why would I? I tried to keep everything, but yeah, I do.
Awesome.
It's funny. I just watched that one the other day because I was bored and I was going through our old episodes, and that birthday one came up, and it was just me and you. And then it was the birthday one that you guys did for me, talking about me, driving downtown and calling Vinny and telling him not to worry. We're going through some shady neighborhoods.
That was great.
That was really early on.
Man,
Classic Justin.
I don't know why you guys actually still hung out with me after that. Once you got to know me, you can't pick your family. You can pick your friends. You can't pick your family. Yet you still kept doing this for almost 2.5 years.
It's easier that way, so I don't have to pick. So
that's okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Vinny, what was? I don't know if you found it yet, but what was your favorite soundtrack?
Oh, I found it.
Now it's time for.
Oh, yes. I remember this.
The name is Bond.
James Bond.
James
That was
Bond.
probably my favorite one. I spent so much time working on that.
Yeah.
I was so proud of myself for that one.
I remember telling Erica that week when you're like, I got a surprise guest and a surprise whatever, and I'm not telling you.
You were so nervous too.
I was so nervous. I was so excited. I was like, man, did he talk to Jason Kendall? Are we getting another baseball player? Did he talk to somebody from like? My mind was. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, Vinny got somebody really good.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
He got Jed Hoyer.
I'm thinking you got a player, a former athlete, somebody from some writer that we really like his stuff, a movie producer. I don't know. And no offense to your dad, but when your dad pops on the call, I'm like, son of a bitch.
I'm like, oh.
And then when
Total disappointment.
And then all the Bond stuff popped up, and I'm like, what the hell?
But I don't know
Justin's
anything
like, what
about
is
this.
going on right now?
This is terrible.
This is my life. This is the worst thing ever.
And then the
Yeah.
kicker was I won because Greg wrote in the video game questions. So thank you, Greg. I never
That's
thanked
right.
you
Yeah, those
for
were. I was very impressed with you. My Bond knowledge is you soaked it in over the years.
yes,
I've been,
it just
Yep.
kind of
I've
seeped
been
in
dishing it out
through
to you.
like cultural
Right.
osmosis. All right. What about
Yeah, I remember you working on that drop, Vinny. You sent me like
That was
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I changed
that
it.
was highly well
Yep.
produced, Vinny.
Oh,
You
it
should
was great.
put that
Thank
on the
you.
resume. I don't know, for accountant work, but you can fit it in under like special
Don't send
talents
it.
or something.
Don't send it to Eon. They will follow up with cease and desist because
Right.
they like to have no fun. So
Well,
they
it's
are
even
no
like I remember
fun.
for Greg for your MLB road. Oh, I forgot we did a bunch of the Road to the Show stuff you did, and like I remember
Yeah,
what
countdown
song,
to the show. Yeah,
countdown
oh
to
yeah,
the show.
that's right.
What
Yeah.
song were you using? And I remember I was like, oh, I hope we don't get like takedown
Yeah,
letters from this.
TikTok by Kesha was the
That's
close
right.
down because it was like the countdown thing. Or
We never
whatever,
did.
and
It didn't matter.
No,
no,
that's
No,
we
nobody
weren't-
important listened to our podcast.
Nobody
No.
was listening anyway. So
I will say though, when we were on that conference call to join Belly Up Sports, who were very nice and were very helpful with things, like I really thought like, oh my God, we've made it. We're going to the top, guys. And then nothing happened. It was still the
yeah,
same.
then we
Here
had
we
the
are.
meeting with that one guy. I'm just like, so this guy's telling us everything we're already doing. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So,
Yes. All right.
got that guy's
Okay.
name.
Here's another question for you guys.
Oh, boy.
Favorite segment we ever did over the last 2.5 years. All right. I keep saying 2.5. It's really 2 1/4, but 2.5 sounds better. So, favorite segments. Do you have a
I'll go
favorite segment?
first. My favorite
Okay.
segment, and of course I'm biased on this because I created it, but it was
Bond
the
Trivia.
musical mayhem. No,
Oh.
but the results of Bond Trivia were hilarious because you won, and that's pathetic
totally.
that you yeah. But no, it was musical mayhem. That was probably my favorite segment that we did, because
that was a lot of fun.
there was a lot of interesting bands there were some really bad ones, like Tyler the Creator I never want to have to listen to him again. No offense to him, he's probably a swell human being to be around, but his music's terrible. But a lot of people like it. I don't. I'm not one of those people.
I think my favorite was the discourse from your dad writing in and then him telling us who were the two bands he thought were identical. And then I just remember you getting so angry with him.
I can't even. It was. It was the last one we did, and I can't think of the band name now.
It was.
But he thought all three bands were the same, and they weren't. And I can't think of the.
It's 21
band.
Pilots. 21 Pilots was
Yep.
one of them.
Gray and Snake Hips. Or
Snake
Ships. Snake Hips. Yeah,
Okay.
Snake Hips. There's no S in there. I don't know why I was saying Snake Ships. It's definitely Snake Hips.
Yeah, I just didn't want to correct you. I felt bad.
Yeah, that's okay.
That was a really fun. That reminds me, I got to send you some more music, and I know the stuff you sent me this week was really good, Vinny. So thank you. Through Spotify. Greg, what about you? Favorite? Did you have a favorite segment that we did? I mean,
Yeah, it's such a weird one though, but I love the jersey numbers, like for each episode.
Oh yeah.
Just trying to think of the players.
maybe we can. That's how we'll end the show. We'll do number 2 or number 3 for 102
Yep.
and 103. All right.
Are we on
What about-
Are we on 103?
We're technically 103. Technically.
Oh, okay.
All right. What about? Do you guys have a favorite guest? We got to interview. I was going back. We did
that's a
like
tough
almost
one.
That's so tough.
10, 11 guests, like full blown interviews, or like up to, I think it was like closer to 15 or 20 when it was just people we had on to hang out, like that we didn't do formal
Yeah.
interviews with. I think
Yeah.
Jake from Dingers has got to be up there. Jake was awesome. The CHGO guys are incredible.
Mhm.
Cody
Yeah.
and Herb and Mario was a lot of fun to talk to 2 weeks ago with the Blackhawks stuff. Jason Kendall, I still
That
I
one-
Like
wanna,
that's like the get of
that
a
one's-
lifetime for me.
Right,
So
right,
I mean, that's
right.
like
I feel like-
automatic. I think that one's like automatically the best or my favorite at least. So I
Yeah.
mean that nothing could really beat that for me. I mean,
If
that was like
I
a
was
dream come true.
I was on Etsy the other day and I had a coupon code and I found Jason Kendall jerseys for like $60 and I almost bought one and then I was going to text him and be like, "Hi, you probably don't remember me, but would you if I send this in the mail, can you sign it for me?" But I
Do
chose
your
not to.
text messages sound like that?
Yes.
Am I? Should I be listening to him
That's the
out
voice
loud?
in the head. Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
all I
imagining,
can. That's all I'm gonna
uh,
hear now
the-
when he
the
texts me. So.
the
Yep.
nerdy guy from The Simpsons. The
Squeaky
guy-
voice
the
teen,
Squeaky voice teen is what I
voiced by Dan Castellaneta. Yeah,
Yes. All right. Well,
that was actually
yes,
pretty good.
yes. Jason
That was pretty
Kendall.
good.
Anybody? Obviously, Jason Kendall's at the top.
Right.
Anybody
Yeah.
else that you really enjoy?
Well, I'm
talking
gonna
Yeah.
share a quick story because
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say how when we first our first interview when I got Joe Darlington to come on, how freaking nervous I was, because oh my god, I'm talking to a guy I've listened to for years, and I
Yeah.
wrote out this whole fucking questionnaire like 4 pages long, and I'm just gonna ask this guy shit, and I'm just new to this stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing. This guy's been podcasting about James Bond by himself for like 10 years. I was like, man, how's this gonna go? But turned out to be okay. But I just remember how nervous I was, that
That
is
is one thing I have to say is like, okay, so for anybody who's interested in podcasting, like we would do the show. I would listen to sports radio driving to and from work. I would watch the games at night, and this was easier before Maddie was born, but like that was my preparation. And then I would just, on the nights we recorded that night after, I'd stay up like an hour later and finish editing and I'll put it up and that was it. But I just remember like looking at our show notes, Greg, when we would do interviews, it was just page after page of like,
Mhm.
it was almost like,
I almost
it
had
was like
every
an-
thought
it was like
out
an
almost that I
ACT,
think.
SAT, like an if then. If he says this answer, we're going to jump to this
Right.
question. And if he doesn't, we're going to go
Right.
here. Like your
So I
preparation.
play
and
it
then-
out in my head. Yeah.
And then Vinny, I know when you were doing, I was looking back at our old shows and we were doing the who's hot, who's not. The amount of stats and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
you were
Yeah.
pulling, like I just remember being like, oh yeah, I got podcasts. I'll just show up. Like that is what I brought to the table. And then here you guys are just these copious amount of notes on things you want to share and say. And then I noticed too, like over time, as we added more segments, initially the podcast was only like an hour and 15 minutes. And then it got to a point where like we were hitting 2.5 hours
Oh, yeah.
every single week.
Easy,
Oh, yeah.
And I
easy.
think that's what kind of burned us out. Like if we could have kept it at an hour and maybe did every other week, it would have been a little bit
Yeah.
easier. But yeah, those 2.5
Absolutely.
hours and then to stay up an hour later and finish it because I was weird about I
There's
had
so
have
much
it
to
up the
talk
next day.
about.
There was.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was a therapy session, and both teams sucked, and
Pretty
we all
much,
had
yeah.
to get it
Oh,
off our
God, and
chest.
And then when it was the winter and we had the Bears to talk about, that's what really made it longer too.
Oh, man. Yep.
All right. I got another one. What about favorite episode? Is there one topic or what best whatever? I guess I would say. Is there one whatever that comes to mind that you guys are like, that was really a fun one, or like one that you didn't think was going to really bring a lot and it really brought a lot of entertainment, excitement, I should say.
Entertainment,
I don't know about any ones that I didn't think would bring entertainment. But I think my favorite ones were the draft episodes that we did, the holiday movie one, and then the Office draft. I think that one was my favorite of the drafts that we did. When we did the Office cast draft.
That's a good call.
Yes. Greg, what about you?
That's a really good one. I really like when we did the Beatles.
I was just gonna say the Beatles.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Or anything video games, anything, or
Yeah.
really anything that kind of inspired to make a fun thumbnail or whatever. So
Yeah,
You were
I'm
good at
looking
those.
like video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Canva. I'm still really big, especially at work now.
I know, I use Canva
My
for
school,
so
my
much.
my school district has discovered my Canva abilities. So
Oh, really?
I'm
That's
doing-
awesome.
I'm doing a lot of stuff with Canva
Well,
now.
I'm looking.
Now I
you
can knock
Nice.
stuff out left and right. Well, it's nice
I-
because I have the district account now, so it's all
That's
the
yeah.
good tools, Don't
That's,
have to
I
use
use
like
mine for
the,
so much stuff
the
that
reject
that's not
background
school-related.
remover.
But I think it's
so-
funny. You can go through and you can see like the ones that Greg did Canva YouTube thumbnails, and then occasionally there'll be one that's just something I did, there's no comparison. And by the end, I was just taking the templates and just throwing shit on top of them. I think the Beatles one was really good because that's when Vinny got so mad at me about, was it Mockingbird or Blackbird? What's the name of the song?
Oh, God.
Blackbird?
Blackbird. God,
Okay.
it's
Like,
Blackbird.
The look on your face
Made
in that
so much
episode,
progress.
Top
Yeah.
90s cartoons was good. Anytime we did the Slime 5, I think was a lot of fun.
That was fun,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's see what else we got. We did a whole episode on baseball sticky situation. That was episode 10.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot
That
of
was episode 10. Holy shit.
best background Simpsons characters was episode 12. Holy cow.
That's what I was thinking of.
I
too.
wasn't
That's
there for
really
that
what my
one.
sisters wrote in, I think.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I mean, we did the one where we interviewed, what was his name from the Disney Dads podcast? That was really trying to
Jeff,
pick
right?
Disney movies.
Was it Jeff?
I think it was Jeff. Yeah, that was good. You know, there's a lot of good Star Wars stuff in here. Yeah, I don't know.
Star Wars Outlaws, Justin. Did you see that?
That looks so good. I'm all in on that. I will buy that for sure. We also
There you
did
go.
we did one called Best Pranks. Do you guys remember doing that? That looked like
That was an April Fool's joke one, and that one, yeah, Greg was scared on revealing one of his because he thought I was gonna statute of limitations. He was worried about.
Didn't you do something with the toilet, Greg?
Oh yeah, that was senior prank.
Hey.
In,
Okay,
is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
When we hauled the toilet up the stairwell in the middle of.
Greg had a lot of good pranks. Justin, you and I kind of didn't.
I wonder, Greg, if you and I, well, obviously, I think all three of us are pretty good friends now, but I wonder if we would have been friends in high school.
Totally, we had video games,
so?
man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Video games.
No,
I would have been
Justin,
kind of
you would have been scared of
Greg.
Yeah, you would have been terrified of Greg. I don't know if my parents are going to let me hang out with you, Greg, but I do like playing video games with you.
He goes behind the bleachers and smokes weed. I can't go over there.
Yeah,
I wasn't even behind the bleachers. I was just in front of everybody. So I wasn't even trying to hide.
I can't go over there, Greg. I got to go home and study for my geography bee tomorrow or whatever.
I would have given you so much shit for that. You're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
nerd.
Yeah. Nerd alert. Yeah,
Nerd alert.
I don't know.
There
right.
it is.
I got two more for you guys, and then if you want to wrap it up, we can. All right, first one. You know what? We'll okay. Here's first one. Is there something, whether it's a guest you wish we could have interviewed, a segment we could have done, something we could have done differently? Is there anything you wish we could have either done that we didn't accomplish, or anything you wish we would have done that we never got around to? I know this is it's very open ended, but anything you wish we could have done in these last 103 episodes that maybe it just never came to fruition and never panned out, things like that. And if you need time to think, I have one right off
I
top
don't think nothing comes to mind with me, and I'll tell you why, because we covered for
everything.
Me personally, we covered baseball, which was huge, a lot of baseball guys, and for me, and when I got involved with the Bond community on Twitter and bringing in some of these guys that we talked to, I mean, that was huge for me personally. So I think those were two really big things that I felt like just that alone was a huge accomplishment, plus all the episodes we did. So nothing's really coming to mind.
The only thing I can think of is I remember I got a hold of what's the name of the actor that plays Ron Swanson? Do you remember?
Nick Offerman.
I got a hold of Nick Offerman's people. Do you guys remember this? And I was talking back and forth with them. I thought I told you.
Yes,
this.
I remember that.
Okay.
I know you were in contact, but I don't remember that there being back and forth.
It was I got a hold of somebody, and she said, "Okay, well, can you explain what your show is about?" And I explained. I said, "We're Cubs fans. Well, Cubs and Chicago White Sox fans. I know that he's a big Chicago Cubs fan." We're huge Parks and Recs fan as well. And just, we like to just have him on and talk. And then the response was, "Oh, that sounds really interesting. That might be something he'd be interested in. Thank you so much. I'll get back to you." And then never heard from him again. So I shouldn't say him. I think
probably listen to the, they listen to the podcast and like, nope,
delete. So, I mean, that would have been pretty cool, but that's the only thing I can think of. Vinny, you got anything else or no?
God, I don't know. Keep going. I mean, I guess that's the one thing that would be fun, but life happens.
Gets in the way.
To quote Jurassic Park, life finds a way
The
and
way.
destroys a lot of good things. But no, I think I reached out to Chris Tannehill from 670 The Score.
Oh,
That would have been a
yeah,
fun
yeah.
interview. But
Did you ever
he
hear
was
back or no?
I didn't hear back from him once I offered him. I'm sure he's probably just too. Well, he was
Yeah, he's a
busy. I
busy
think he was
guy.
doing like a Bulls
On
podcast
Socks
at the
or-
time.
yeah.
Yeah, and he was still doing Locked On Socks, I think, at the time. But that would have been a fun one. But I probably could have tried to reach out to him again, like you did with Herb, and that ended up working out. That was a cool interview, getting to interview Herb.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
well, and I
totally.
think too, like I don't know, and Greg, I know you were reaching out to people too. Like there was a limit where it's like, all right, at what point am I bothering this person? Like, how far do I
Yeah.
take this? Like, I remember I talked to Matt, I messaged with Matt Spiegel a couple times, and he's like, yeah, we'll find a time, and I sent him some dates, and then I never heard from him again. And I'm like, you know what? He's between his Sunday show, his regular show, he's got some other stuff he's
And
doing.
doing stuff with the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't
He fills
wanna
in for
be-
play-by-play.
Yeah. Oh, he's way better than
Yeah.
Zach Zaidman too.
Yeah.
But Zach Zaidman, if you want me to interview you, I'll be happy to. Yeah, I mean, I think Vinny, I think you're right. Like even doing this right now, the three of us, it is so much fun, and hopefully, like we said, down the road when our kids are a little bit older, when work, obviously, if we're in a situation, it like you said, like Vinny, I know you're kind of rising up in your role at work, so it's making things busy. My new role, I have. I don't want to say downtime because that's not the right word, and I really like my job. So, but I have a little bit more time. Greg, I know you're
Oh,
swamped.
it must be nice.
Yeah, right?
There's some days where I don't do anything. We call
Here,
those week days.
I'm going nowhere, but more work's being piled on.
So and
Yeah.
and that reminds me, Greg. I thought this Arlington Heights Bears thing was all a done deal, and then apparently your contract demands got them looking for other suburbs now.
Apparently so. I didn't even have time to negotiate my guaranteed money figures yet. So yeah,
Jeez.
there's well, actually kind of going with that. There's two real big groups in Arlington Heights right now, and because I work in the school, a lot of the parents are involved in these to bring the Bears to Arlington Heights, and there's a big group to keep the Bears out of Arlington Heights. So
Of course.
it's just so, it's just so back and forth. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? I mean, they just demolished Ditka's down there. They finally put the gate up around it. They're going to level the place, but that is such a wasteland right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I heard now they're talking about going to Waukegan, or Waukegan wants in on this. I'm like,
I've heard Waukegan. Yeah, Waukegan. You ever been to Waukegan?
Where's Waukegan?
No, I've heard it's not that nice.
It's up north. It's along the lake. It's kind of like by North Chicago, Zion.
Is it
That's
nice?
where, like,
I
the
thought it was.
naval base. It's like the naval bases.
Is
up
it a nice
there.
suburb though, or no?
No, it's crap.
Okay, I didn't think it was that nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of crime there. It's run down. It's terrible.
Okay.
That's where the Navy boot camp is for.
I'm surprised
the
it's
state.
run
Great
down
Lakes
like
are a Navy base. So
you'd think it'd be a nice suburb if it's right along the lake, but that's a bummer.
no, now as you go up north, it gets very like poverty. So
that's a shame.
that's what it looks.
You
like,
get closer
so.
to Wisconsin.
Yeah,
because you're keep creeping up on Kenosha there. So it's
yeah. Hey, don't you disparage the Kenosha Kickers, Greg.
So.
All right, I
don't know what's going to happen with the Bears, so we'll see.
Well,
so I just signed a 5-year deal with my work again. So
nice.
Wow,
Wow, that's really cool.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you very much. 5 years.
That's pretty cool that's how they do that. I didn't even know.
Yeah, like minimum wage or whatever. So 50 cents. No, I'm just kidding. But
the good thing we're ending this so no one else can listen to it.
We'll see what happens in 5 years. So
all right, final question for you guys, unless you got other stuff you want to talk about before we wrap up. And this maybe kind of goes along in general with some of the other topics, but all the episodes, all the shows, all the segments, everything we've done, is there one moment you can look back and be like, man, that was a lot of fun? Like, I am really glad. As much of a pain in the ass it was sometimes preparing for it, as much as it sucked getting up on Friday mornings after we'd record for 2.5 hours on a Thursday night, as much as just trying to find time in the day to do this, even though with kids and work and family and, spouses and all that, you look back and you're like, it was worth it. That moment right there, I can pinpoint, like, that was a lot of fun. That was so enjoyable. I'm just glad that we did this for so long as we did. I know
I'll
that
say
was,
Wow.
that's
a
deep,
pretty,
right?
That's a deep one. I'll say the Jason Kendall thing was a lot of fun, but I was never was a fan of baseball later in my
Yeah.
life. It was never, I didn't grow up playing it like you guys did.
Yeah.
I think for me, the one interview that we did early on that was like the only thing I wanted to do. When I was done with that, I was like, okay, if this thing just falls apart, I'm perfectly fine with doing it. But getting to interview my old teammate Perry Morosevich,
Yeah.
that was absolutely fun. Getting to talk to him after 10 plus years of him going off and becoming a professional soccer player in the MLS, while I was like sitting in high school just picking my nose. It was just a lot of fun to get to do that and to kind of reconnect with him and just kind of find out about his career. And what he's doing now with the U.S. national team was a lot of fun. And that was like the one thing when we started doing this, like, okay, I got to reach out to him. I got to get this interview. This is like, was my bucket list interview, even though it wasn't like, some like huge, humongous like baseball superstar or anything like that. It was just something that when we started doing this, I was like, okay, that's the one thing I want to do. And if it ended the day after that, I would be perfectly fine. But the whole experience of doing the podcasting with you guys was a lot of fun. And like I said, if this could have kept on going, it would have been awesome. But
Yeah.
just obviously with
life.
everything going on right now, it's just too
hard.
busy, too crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I totally forgot to. Our interview with Perry was a lot of fun, and I remember, Greg. I can't speak for you, but I remember Vinny pitching that and being like, "Yep, we're good to go." And I was just like, I have nothing to offer. What can I? And then what?
Well, yeah, it's like Vinny took charge on that. Thank
yeah.
God, so
And then when you guys would mention certain soccer players, I remember I'd be like, okay, here's my chance. Ask a question about what it was like to play with that guy, because that's all I know. Like I remember him talking about Thierry Henry. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Thierry Henry.
And he's like, yeah, I got to play against him. I'm like, okay, that is somebody I know because I played FIFA, whatever, and that guy was in there, so I can talk about this. But yeah, I think that was a lot of fun. I agree, Vinny. Greg, what about you? Was there one moment that you're like, holy cow, that was a lot of fun? It made it worth it despite all the crap that we had to still do in our regular lives.
So yeah, Jason Kendall aside, I think it was oh God, it's hard to narrow it down. I really okay, so I brought up Joe Darlington earlier. That felt like an accomplishment, even though that was really early on.
Well, and I feel like it was so early. We're like, well, shit, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I think no, I think I think Andrew Reiner was like
That
a
was
real
awesome.
pivotal moment for me. It was like, here we getting some real like notoriety right here on social media or whatever, like a real big, figure
Following. Yeah.
With a huge following. I think that was the point where I'm like, okay, we're really starting to take off because we're getting, we're covering. That's why our podcast was so open, because we had the whatever subject, so we could branch out and kind of talk about what we wanted to talk about. So I think that moment was like, oh wow, we really got this guy, So and then it just took off from there with the interviews. So
I just remember
that feeling like a pivotal moment.
As soon as we got Joe Darlington, I think immediately we made a spreadsheet of like, who are people that aren't that famous,
we did.
kind of famous that we could maybe, and then like rating, like what are the possibilities they'd respond to us, or maybe that was me, I don't remember, but
I remember
saw that
too.
on there.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, it was like, okay, rank the number of stars. What's the probability of this person responding? But like, yeah, Andrew Reiner was awesome. Like, I just remember growing up reading Game Informer and him being in that magazine. He's and he's not even there right now, or he's not there anymore. He works for Gearbox now. He's their global he's a CEO, but it's not an executive. It's something else. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's a big deal. But that was awesome. And being like, holy cow, like you can just DM people on Twitter and they might answer you back. And then that was literally just us trying nonstop and like throwing things at the wall. And I know, like, I love, and I've been meaning to get a hold of him again because I love talking to him. Jay Kahn from XM NHL Network Radio. Like, I still remember Vinny, you and I are, because I had talked to him once on the Blackhawks podcast I was on before we started ours, and like, oh, he's such a nice guy. And then you guys doing the show with me, or us doing the show, I should say. And then he signed off the call, and it was either Greg or Vinny. You're like, he is the nicest man I've ever met. He is so friendly. And I'm like, yeah, he's Canadian. He's awesome. So that was a big one. Jason Kendall, like, not only once, but having him on twice. The fact that like
Yeah.
I still have his number in my phone. He has one of our shirts. Like I remember him sending. I still have the text like saved, like screenshot of like, "Hey Justin, I'll take an XL. Like here's my address. Send it to me." And yeah.
He had a
So
thing of dip while he was doing the podcast. He was spitting in a cup.
He's
I'm
like,
"Oh my
he's like the
God,
camera. It's got to be off the camera. I can't. So
real
yeah.
fucking baseball player.
Yeah. And like for me, the other thing too was like I love and I know like you guys can't. Greg, you got amazing at Canva and doing graphic design, and Vinny was doing
Yeah.
awesome at pulling sound bites and editing stuff together. And like I love just kind of trying to put everything together. Like, and it was so cool that putting the show together like got me this side job I have on the side where I produce a podcast and I get paid like decent money for it. And it's like it's a skill that we kind of all taught ourselves how to do those things and watching a lot of YouTube tutorials and then getting better and better and better. And it was a lot of fun. So be able to take something we're doing I almost said as a joke, and that's not the case, but doing something like fun that was filled with jokes, and then turning it into something to make money was really, really cool. And that was something that was really memorable for me. All right, I'm going to open the floor to you guys and we can say goodnight. Anything else you want to get off your chest? Anybody you want to go after? Greg, you got beef with anybody?
No, I was just
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
The Cubs just swept the Pittsburgh Pirates.
3.5 games out, baby. 3.5.
Yeah. Look out. They're on a roll.
They're on a roll. Vinny, I'm going to call it right now. We're going to end the podcast, and then they're going to go on a playoff run. World Series, baby.
There you go.
right,
I'm glad you're on the train now.
Oh, I've always been. There is no episode where I didn't pick them to win first place.
I think you picked the Cardinals to win first place.
we don't need to talk about that. I'm sorry, Greg. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say I was going through some of our YouTube content here in our comments, and it looks like your super mega baseball informative videos are getting some attention, Justin. So
I think it's got like a whole 50 views, I think, right?
It does. We got Adam Dunn in the game with your classic players. Eric Davis is there, Reggie Sanders. So how you liking super mega baseball?
Oh, I love it. It's really good. I'm glad. I haven't had a chance to play it lately, but because I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, but it's really good. I started a franchise. I got a bunch of classic players on my team that I drafted, and well worth the $50. So,
EA didn't screw it up yet.
Nope, they did not screw it up.
Nope. I didn't know EA bought that studio.
I didn't know that.
Saw
either.
that. I'm like ruh-roh. So
yeah, I was worried about that, and then I played the game. No, it's really good. I enjoy it. So you got to buy that.
I
so
know.
play
I
online.
do. It looks like fun. So
it is. And I'm glad you brought that up. I think one of your views, and I know Vinny, you made a couple TikTok like videos, and one of them has like 1,200 views. Some of Greg's stuff that he put up from PlayStation's got thousands of views. Those were our best. Those were our most watched content.
All right, so I was looking at our views. Our highest ranked video. How sad is this? It is the Edwin Diaz intro to MLB The Show 23.
Oh my!
Shout out Jack Lugo and his Mets. Yeah.
Yes,
it's
Jack
got
Lugo.
59,000 views.
Can you believe that?
Oh boy!
2 minute and 19-second video after the hours we all poured into. Something I recorded on a whim, just like, oh yeah, maybe that'll get some views.
And we also, not to toot our own horns, but that's what we've done all night. We got 266 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
Oh shit!
Remember when we started and we were like, we got to get to 100 so we can get our own personal URL. We blew by that. I think mostly because of other stuff that wasn't podcast related, but it doesn't matter.
It was all Greg's video game stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe keep subscribed to this just in case Greg or I put up PS5 videos or Xbox
we'll still put up videos. Yeah,
and if you want to,
the channel's not going anywhere.
No, the channel will stay up. The podcast feed will stay up. If something crazy, amazing happens and we all want to get together, like the Cubs and the White Sox meet in the World Series, maybe we will.
We'll be getting together to relay like what's going on in the world because there's been aliens that have taken over. That's why we'd be on it'd be an emergency broadcast. Yeah.
Coming to you live from my
emergency broadcast and you're tuning into our podcast. Yeah. Oh man, we're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Man.
Anything else you guys want to say before we call it a show?
Justin, I finished watching Better Call Saul.
I thought you were going to say
watch that.
I thought you were going to say the Snyder Cut for a second.
No, no, I would rather watch the Schumacher cut of Batman than the Snyder cut of
Oh hell yeah!
what is it, Justice League?
Justice League,
But no,
yes.
you need to see Better Call Saul because
All
you
right, I
finished
will-
Breaking Bad, right?
Yes, I'm gonna start that very soon.
It's all out on Netflix, so you can watch it and blow past it. And it was it was fantastic.
I need to start. I've started my sister is now a physical trainer, and she made me a routine, and now I've been watching like old Sports Center shows, and there's no reason to watch that from the 90s, so this will give me something to watch. Maybe I'll start watching that then.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Vinny.
Yes.
Is it darker than Breaking Bad?
No.
Breaking Bad, there was a few episodes I felt like I needed a shower.
Yeah,
there.
Maybe there's
I don't.
very dark moments, but overall not as
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. There are some very dark moments, but at the same time, it's also got some.
Because he's more of like a comic relief character still at heart.
Yeah.
You know. A
Yeah,
little bit.
that's true.
So yeah, I
All
think
right,
that's the
well,
best way to describe it.
I will give that
Really,
that a whirl.
really quick. One thing I wanted to add too was that a couple guests I tried to get on but failed was I think I told you guys this, but I hit up Daniel Polka on Twitter.
Did you really?
But he never got
really?
back to me because he's a big fan of video games.
Mhm.
And this is when he was like an NRI with the Mets or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of threw a couple ideas out to him. Never heard back from him.
Ah.
And then one guy I reached out to was because he actually follows me on Twitter, is an actor named Anthony Stark, but he's
Who's
not.
that?
He's not. It's not Iron Man.
Okay.
But he's the guy that
No
played.
shit.
He's the guy that played Jimmy in Seinfeld, and he was also in a
Oh,
Bond movie.
Really?
And he's also from Chicago. So, but we never got
Oh.
anything worked out, unfortunately. But I was like,
that
"Ooh, maybe I
stinks.
can make this work." He did a lot of performing.
What Bond
in
movie was he in?
License to Kill. He was the accountant for the bad guy.
Oh,
easy-
yeah, that poor
so-
bastard. All he was concerned about was the money and the
Money,
you know,
yeah.
he was he was just trying to do his job, and then he
Right.
got killed because of
Then he
that.
got
I mean,
just gunned
that's his
down.
job is to worry about all the logistics
Right.
and
Right.
yeah.
So
Damn
he
it.
also
All right.
played Jimmy from Seinfeld, but then
Yes.
like,
That would have been
damn,
good.
no.
George is getting
Yeah.
angry.
Exactly. So
Oh, real quick, Greg, I do have a question for you. Out of all the
Yeah.
thumbnails you made, because you made most of them, do you have a
Yeah.
favorite? Do you have a favorite?
yeah, the Beatles one.
Okay.
I think
That
that's
was-
I think that's I put the most time into that one. And I
Mhm.
put the most because that's like multiple layers to get the hair right and everything.
Yes.
And then taking out, Paul and John and Ringo and all those guys, and then adding their hair onto our heads. It took a while, but it was so worth it in the end. I think that's my favorite
That was great.
favorite thumbnail.
that was a good one.
make.
That was a really
There
good
were some
one.
real fun ones, but I felt like that one had heart to it. That
I
one
really
was
liked
okay.
your Mighty Ducks one you did when we had the guys from the Quack Attack podcast on.
Oh
or
yeah,
guy, I
that was
should say.
that's when
that
I
was a good
kind
one,
of
too.
started importing
Playing around.
like kind of more logos and start, ripping off Google images and shit like that.
And then there was
So-
also our Halloween episode where we all wore Halloween costumes. I remember
Oh,
just
that was
sweating
fun.
my
Yeah.
ass off in that skeleton onesie. Oh my god, that was so hot.
That was
I think
fun.
Eric-
I
I
forgot
think
about
Eric-
that.
I think Erica
Yep.
returned it too. All right, because she knew I was never gonna wear that thing again. Besides
Right, yeah.
Halloween.
Get her money back, right?
Yeah, she wanted a picture. I don't know what she wanted. All right, well, if you guys have nothing else, I guess it's time to say goodbye. Are you
Are we
ready?
doing jersey numbers?
Not for forever.
Oh yeah, we gotta do our jersey numbers first. Vinny, who wore number 3?
3. All right, for the Cubs, Greg, do you have it? Justin, you were always terrible at this. I'm just gonna now that this is the
right.
last episode, you were god awful at this jersey thing. And when Greg left, it just went downhill. It was just me naming off the
I'm not gonna
players.
lie, the ones that I knew, I usually had looked up the day before. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
So, well, for the White Sox, it's Harold Baines. I mean, that's
Oh,
retired
yeah,
for
yeah.
him. So then no one wears 3. So the
Before
standouts
Harold
for
Baines,
the
you got
Cubs-
anybody?
Before Harold Baines?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't know anyone before
Smead
Harold Jones.
Jolly. You don't remember Smead Jolly
I
from
do not remember
1932?
I don't remember Smead Jolly. Damn.
Or Rod Kress from 1933? No? Rudy
No.
York, 1947. Really good baseball
Nope.
names here.
Yeah, these are great
Bud-
names.
Bud Schcock.
Can you say that on the air? I don't know.
Great. Now I gotta put that explicit tag.
Or Sue Shock. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I probably butchered that one. Jim Busby, Sammy Esposito. Some really good baseball names.
Oh, these are
there,
great
but,
baseball names. Oh man, we
yeah,
need to
but
revisit this
Harold
number
Baines.
3.
Yeah, number 3 is the only one
Yeah,
that's really
the only
of,
one I knew.
The Cubs have a bit more for number 3, especially recently. Who you got?
I guess a couple. I have David Ross.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Because
David
he
Ross.
wore it for.
There you go.
And then I think. Oh God, what is this? When did Jeremy Burnitz wear 3 for the Cubs? I vaguely remember wearing 3 for the Cubs.
I think he did.
Good job, 2005.
Did he? Okay, because that wasn't his usual number, but he did wear 3. I was like, I think he wore. A single-digit
Justin,
number,
you could probably name off a couple. Justin, come on, without looking it up.
I can name the 2 Blackhawks that wore 3s, but I can't name any Cubs that wore 3s.
No,
What about
Daniel
Cesar
Descalso.
Torres?
Oh, Daniel Descalso. He sucked.
Yes, Daniel just. So
Good job, Cesar Izturis.
Cesar
He
Izturis.
wore. Yep.
Another.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boston.
And
Yeah.
Daniel Descalso,
He wore
Daniel
3
Murphy,
also.
Oh yeah.
Jeff
Oh, God,
Baker,
Daniel
Eric
Murphy.
Patterson,
Oh God.
Ryan Theriot.
Eric.
Terrio? I thought he wore 2. Did he? I thought he wore 2.
He wore
mostly.
2. He also
2006.
wore 7. Yeah, he also wore
okay.
7 for the Cubs. He wore a bunch of numbers for them.
Okay.
Oh God,
Other than that, not
I can't
not too
think of
many
anyone else.
notable guys. That's it.
Yeah,
Justin, you said you had 2 Blackhawks.
Yes. Number 3 is co-retired for these 2. It's Keith Magnuson, who passed away in a car accident, and Pierre Pilote, I believe.
Good job. Yep.
I did not look those up. I just know those.
Yeah, and the last person to wear it was in 2004, and they must have retired it after that.
Yes.
Was
No, not Boris Marinov. He was 2, I think. Who wore it in 2004?
Brian Berard?
Oh God, yeah,
Berard?
yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, Brian Berard. He was one. If it's who I'm thinking of, he would later get cut in the eye with a slash and would like lose all sight in his eye. His eye would be like permanently almost closed for the rest of his career. If it's who I'm thinking of,
jeez.
yeah.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. Sorry to be a downer. way to bring the podcast to a screeching halt.
I'm all sad.
All right. Do you guys know any Bears that wore number 3? Not a lot here.
It's retired, isn't it?
Nope.
Is it retired or no?
I don't think
think of
so.
anyone
There's
who
nobody
wears
of
3
there's
now.
nobody of value here. These
got any
are
other
all
weird
quarterbacks.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it probably is retired because
thought it
Bronco
was
Nagurski
retired.
wore it.
Oh,
Yep,
ooh.
I'm assuming. Yeah, Bronco Nagurski wore it from 30s to 43, and I'm sure it's probably retired now.
I can't remember. I don't remember a Bear ever wearing 3 in my lifetime. I
No,
can't
me
think of
neither.
any.
Yeah,
not even like a.
he
kicker
was
or
the only
something.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, not much. Nope. Nobody of besides Bronco. What a great football. I was gonna say baseball name, but good football name. All right. I guess the last franchise in Chicago, the Bulls. There's a lot of actually ones that I actually recognize these names here, which I'm kind of surprised. You guys got anybody?
No.
This guy was really good, and he's going to make the Hall of Fame if he isn't
Dwayne
already.
Wade, right?
There you go.
Dwayne Wade.
Yes,
Yeah, I
Dwayne
was
Wade.
gonna
And there's
say-
going to probably be
Yeah.
maybe another one that's going to make the Hall of Fame. He was probably not, but he was NBA champion. Couldn't really score. Good defender around the rim. Rebounded pretty decently.
What year?
Played for the Pistons when he won his championship.
Oh, Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace.
Oh, Ben Wallace.
I didn't even look
Ben
that
Wallace,
up.
yes. Tyson Chandler also wore 3.
Oh, I remember.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
right before Ben Wallace,
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
Yep. And then Omar Asik. You guys remember him?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Rashik?
He got like a major
Yeah.
contract and then didn't really pay.
Yeah, the Bulls had a chance to resign. I still remember that offseason. He was like a restricted free agent, and I think Houston just like offered him a ridiculous amount, and the Bulls were like, "Yeah, we're not matching.
Yeah.
We're not stupid." But yeah, he was a really good bench player for the Bulls. He's part of the bench
Yes.
mob.
That's right. Yeah.
Dougie Buckets.
Doug
wore
McDermott.
injury.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Okay.
never did anything
No.
of significance in the NBA. Tristan Thompson wore it, and Andre Drummond just wore it. Other than that,
okay.
that would be it.
Haven't been
Yep.
paying
All
Or
right.
attention to the
Hershey
Bulls
Hawkins. You
lately.
guys remember Hershey Hawkins?
Vaguely,
Hershey
the name
No.
sounds familiar.
I don't know if I remember that.
2000.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. That does it for
Good name.
Chicago sports number 3s.
Well, there you have it. It's
Where did we start? Where did we start with numbers?
like 30 something maybe?
26.
Was it?
No.
Oh, was
Wow,
it
how
that?
do
I
you
think
remember
for-
that, Vinny?
Because
numbers, man.
No, I don't. 29 was the last one I had saved, so it was probably around 25 to 29 because I kept
Okay.
the Bears one. When I bring that up, it brings it up to what I favored it as the number, so I know that one of the last times I updated it was at 29, so it was probably somewhere between 20 and 29 most likely, and I don't think it was 23 because I don't remember doing Michael Jordan. So it was probably around 25 and after.
And then we kept saying, "Oh, well, we'll loop back around," and here we are.
And we just did. We just did.
We
just
just
did.
That's looped
Yeah.
in. There
we
we
made
go.
it. We
We
made it.
brought it
Yeah.
back home. So
We made it because when I was doing it with guest co-host, I'm like, I can't take Vinny's segment. That's his. So
I mean, you could have.
Well, I could have.
You were looking them up anyways, Justin.
It would have been me being like, "Who wore number 2?" Hold on, let me look it up. Yes, that's all it would have been. So, all right, last call. Anything else? You guys have anything else you want to share? Get off your chest.
Oh, I'm sure there's something else I have. I can't. Exactly.
Vinny, you got one more like old man for old time's sake?
How about that?
That works
Hey,
too.
everybody, an old man's talking.
There we go. All right. Well,
that was great.
hold on. Let's see here. Hold on. Oh, what? That's the wrong music. Hold on. There we go. I still remember Greg finding this song and being like, "This is such a mellow, great song." For
Oh
an
yeah, when I
ending."
would browse the YouTube music library.
Yes, and then
Oh,
I know
yeah.
when we redid it, Vinny sent me a list of like how many songs, Vinny, and then I think we narrowed it
I
down.
listened to every single song in the like the rock. I listened to like
Yeah.
every song in like the couple like of genres that were like
Yeah.
close to what we would use. But yeah, I sent a huge list to you. I think I still have that somewhere.
I think I still did too. All right, well, this is it for now. This is it. Goodbye. It's see you later. Maybe down the road we'll be back, but for the time being, we need a break. We're exhausted. Families, work, responsibility. Ugh.
All that adult
Thank
crap.
you. If you were a guest on
Yeah.
the show, if you all that adult crap. If you interacted with us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any of those places, if you wrote in on anything, I know we had one guy randomly text. You remember texting in saying he liked our show?
Oh yeah,
Remember that vaguely? I don't remember what his
Yeah.
name was. It's in the north suburbs. Anyway,
somebody from one of the suburbs. I forgot his name already. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember
This-
that.
it was an absolute blast to do. And again, thank you guys, Greg and Vinny. Thank you to all our family for listening. Thank you for everyone else who listened. Thank you if you bought a shirt, onfire.com/baseball, whatever. It's still up. I might just buy another shirt just for the hell of it.
Still open.
Yeah, still open. We will see you next time on baseball. Whatever. Wait a minute. No, Greg, you got to end it. Isn't that your thing? Baseball. And
Yeah,
whatever.
it was welcome to whatever
Oh.
baseball and whatever. So.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. Take care, everybody.
One
We'll
last
see you.
time.
We'll see you whenever.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.